Talking Music with Big Andy. On this week's show, Vortex Town, Talking Music with me, Big Andy. Before we start the podcast, just a reminder, if you like what we're doing on here, please like the videos and subscribe to the channel and check out all the bands and all of the episodes, because that's what this is about. Thank you. Hello, welcome to the podcast. Today I have with me two members of the band Vortex Town. It's Cassie and Ben. Hi.
Yep. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Now, this is a strange one for me, I must admit, this interview, because I kind of like to pride myself on my research. And when I tried to do a lot of research about the band, basically what I found out was that you're a rock stroke grunge band, apparently, who come from either Mansfield or Sheffield, depending on where you look.
Right.
And you were formed in 2021. And I found the lineup, and that's about it. That's about all I could find out about.
We're very mysterious beings, you see.
That's it.
You've got to keep people guessing.
So otherwise we won't have podcasts if we tell people too much. So
tell me about yourselves. Where are you from? Is it Mansfield or Sheffield or both? Or
I'm from Derbyshire. I'm from neither of those places, but you know, I'll go along with it. I'm near Mansfield. I'm about 15 minutes up the road from Mansfield. So
right.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we band practice in Mansfield. I'm trying to work out if anyone from the band is actually from Mansfield, because I'm from Sheffield.
Tim is from Mansfield-ish.
He lives the closest, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's just kind of the central area, I guess. We can all kind of meet rather than to drive too far.
Yeah,
so,
it makes it easier to say one set place that you're from instead of like all of, because I think a lot of us probably like live in insignificant little suburbs that no one's ever heard of. So.
Oh, nowhere and nobody is insignificant.
Oh, Andy, thank you.
So you formed in 2021.
As a full band, yes.
Yeah.
We were kind of. It's been an ongoing project for quite a while, so.
I was going to say. It seems to me that 2021, in the middle of the entire globe being shut for the weekend, was not necessarily the best time to start a band.
No, definitely not. I think we'd kind of predated. I mean, even before lockdown and everything, Ben and I were writing a lot of the songs and making a lot of the music, so it was kind of more just like a personal project. I suppose Ben writing music, sending them over to me, I'm writing vocal melodies and lyrics. Right. And then we kind of got a lot of that finished through lockdown and recorded it originally, like me, Ben and Andy, before we had Tim on board, and then we've obviously filled out the band with Tim. So it has been going like longer than, you know, we've been a full band, but we've not had the project together as a full band for a very long time.
Right. Okay. So the other members of the band, you've got Andy Purvis on drums and vocals.
Yes,
and
he's a machine.
Tim Davis is the bass player.
That's correct.
Also
yes.
a machine. Yeah.
So, how did you two come together first of all, and then how did you all get together as a band?
So me and Cassie met a very long time ago, I believe, wasn't it? Was it
about 9 years ago?
Yeah, I'd say it was the start of the 2010s. I played in a band that was very similar to the Vortex Town, actually, and we were looking for a singer, and Cassie got in touch. Eventually, that band just didn't work out, and we kind of went our separate ways for a while. And then eventually we got back in touch like a few years later, and we were like, I don't know, I was like, I really like the music we made. So I was like, do you want to try and resurrect those songs and try and give it another shot, but like with new members. And yeah, we just kind of took it from there.
Right. Cool. So, I mean, yeah, the genre thing, I'm not a very big fan of the genre thing anyway, because I
Yeah.
No, I'm not. It does pigeonhole because I think we. Sorry, I'm like totally interrupting everything.
No, go on. No, go ahead.
I get it always surprises me is like when other people hear the band, if you don't tell them what genre you are, what they say your genre is can be something completely different to what you. So I wouldn't like to particularly. It's in the rock genre for sure, but it doesn't really stick to one specific type within that.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, I've had like a surprising amount of people say punk as well, which has never even crossed my mind at any point ever. But like I've had that, you know, that has been mentioned quite a few times, and say I'm not offended by that at all. It's just something that, like, wow, you know, it's probably a lot. It sounds different to other people, and
well, I mean, the thing I saw most of the things was that it labelled you, if you like, as being rock stroke grunge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So is that kind of where your influences come from, where you kind of like the stuff you originally sort of like were into and wanted to play?
yeah,
I'd say absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think Ben and I both like grunge quite a lot. So I just think it's just, I don't think it's necessarily the intention to be grunge. I think it's just, it sounds grunge because I think that's just the type of rock that we both gravitate more towards to, you know, probably the less conventional chord progressions and the slightly more off-key, sludgy kind of tones and that more of a garage rock kind of sound.
Yeah, and so I mean, is that the same for everyone? Is that the main influence for the band? Is that kind of that style of rock?
I think Andy's quite open-minded. I know he has actually quite a lot of interest in funk, Andy, but he does like kind of like heavier rock as well. And I think Tim just generally likes rock music in general. So yeah, I think me and Casper are the more kind of grungy kind of members. But yeah, I think there's, I think like a little bit of, you know, if everyone was too much into the same genre, you'd just spit out that exact genre and you brought to it anyway. So I see that as a positive thing personally.
Right. So you were saying you've been writing material for quite a while and that sort of thing, but you didn't actually release anything until 2021.
That's right. We initially wanted to release an album off the bat because it's always been like a personal dream of life of mine is to release an album. Literally since I was about 13 when I like nabbed my mum's copy of Nirvana's Nevermind. I've always like I'd never really listened to albums at that point. I just listened to singles, and then I think that was the changing moment where I realized like how important an album was. I was just completely blown away by that sound. So I've always wanted to do that ever since. So yeah, me and Cassie were like, shall we just write an album? Because we had quite a few songs. We had like 6 from our old band that I wrote, that we kind of both wrote. And then I had like an additional 6. I think, an additional 4. I think Cassie had another 1 or 2. So like, should we just put all those together and release an album?
Yeah.
So we wrote those all the way back probably in 2019 or something like that. or got them
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah.
And I think when it came to actually looking at how much it was going to cost to record 12 tracks,
that's what put it. It's just we can't
Yeah.
afford it. We wanted to make an album, but we could not afford that.
yeah. So
We
we're
could-
like,
it's skin of our teeth to afford an EP.
yeah, maybe we should split it in half and do 2 EPs instead. And then we have the option to release them both EPs together, like an album on like physical release, like CD and something like that.
Yeah.
So it's still in a way, or like even like a YouTube playlist. Like there's still an option to listen to those EPs back to back, and it still will function like an album.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I mean, a lot of bands nowadays are putting out EPs and that before they put out albums or anything. They put out EPs, and then they'll put out an album which has got, say, a few tracks from each of the EPs plus a few extra tracks, so that's something different for people to have on the album.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the more conventional route. I mean, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I was listening to your stuff or watching the stuff on YouTube. And see, I don't know, listening to and watching because some of it's just is the audio, isn't it? It's not that.
Yes, yeah.
And that sort of thing. I must admit, I do like your stuff, and there was some of it that really kind of jumped out at me. And the first one I listened to, and it was mainly because of the fact that the title just jumped out at me a bit, was Alligator.
Okay.
Because it's not a title you kind of see as a piece of music or a song very often. So I thought, what's that about? And I really liked that. I really thought it was a really good song. It's great.
Oh, thank you. Well, you mean the reason? What's the reason behind the name Alligator?
Well, yeah, I just wondered what
I cannot tell you. I think
it's because Ben had already called it. It was Alligator, and he sent me the music to it, and then I wrote some vocals and lyrics to it. And I've kind of tried to go with almost a slightly predatory, that sounds like shady, doesn't it? A slightly predatory theme with the lyrics to make it in some way related to an alligator, but it's not about alligators.
No.
And I think the title just suits the music somehow. So it is just called Alligator. And yeah, if you want to interpret it as a predatory alligator seeking prey, then you can do that. You can do that with the lyrics.
That makes perfect sense.
As I remember it, I think it was originally called Hyena as well. But I had to go write my own lyrics, and for the bit I wanted the word hyena in, I needed more syllables. I had to change it to alligator because that was the only other predatory animal I could think.
Oh, I like that. That's the first time I'm hearing this story as well.
Both are excellent animals, though, so I don't know. They're both, yeah. Maybe I'll release some called hyena one day. So.
It's different. I mean, as I say, that was the reason I looked at that and I thought, alligator, that's a really strange title for a song.
They're great animals, to be fair. Like,
oh, they are. No, don't get me wrong.
They're very, very interesting.
I have nothing.
Very interesting to look at.
I have nothing against alligators in any way, shape, or form. All animals are equal in my eye.
I've heard it tastes like chicken, or is that crocodile? I'm assuming alligators and crocodiles taste the same.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had crocodile actually. It's quite nice.
Really?
Yes.
How was it?
It was very nice actually. It was a bit like chicken, but it tasted a bit more of a tuna sort of flavour to it.
Okay.
Oh, there's that tuna brand called Chicken of the Sea. That is actually like Chicken of the Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. The next one I listened to was Sugar, because I didn't know you or your music that well. I initially looked at that thinking, this isn't a cover version of System of a Down, Sugar, is it?
Oh, I do love that song though.
So do I.
I would be very open to covering that.
But I thought that would be an interesting thing to hear. But
Yeah.
It wasn't. But it is a good song. It's a really I really like it as well. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So where do you get your the lyrics? Where do they
Oh my god. The American accent came out then. It's oh my god.
Where do you get your inspiration from, as it were?
You know what? I'm going to sound so. You can't even sound. I'm going to sound like a pretentious dickhead for the next few seconds. So just entertain me as you will. All right. Then just from actual life, to be honest, I always have to write. I think that's why it takes me so long to finish songs, because I think they always have to be about personal experiences and personal things. And I think at the moment I'm trying to broaden my horizons with lyrics as well, because I think a lot of them are written when I was a bit younger and are about certain things. There's a lot of common themes and stuff like that of certain life phases, whereas now at my ripe old age, lady never tells, I've got a lot more things to write about, a lot more of a diverse, background of things to write about. But yeah, they're always just personal experiences. So this is where I'm going to sound like a dickhead, but I'm going to stop soon. I was like, I think if anyone ever sat me down and asked me song by song, what lyrics were about and stuff, that would be a very intimate experience for me. That would be like somebody reading my diary. Right. A lot of the time people know the lyrics, but they don't really ask, any deeper about it. So actually there's probably some songs where they probably ask me what it's about and I'd be like, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I think most people, especially initially, you write from your experience, you write from life, because of the fact that that's what you know best, and that's what I think sometimes I come from I'm an old man now, and I come from an era when a lot of people were trying to write sort of these songs all about sort of mythology and fantasy and stuff like that. And some of them got it really right, and some of them really didn't. It sort of was very obvious. It's like, nothing about what you're writing about, so please don't do that.
No, I don't like to write lyrics just kind of for the sake of writing lyrics, because I could do that. I could write things that I don't relate to, or I'm decent at poems. I could just write something, that rhymes, other stuff. But I do like them to, because I think it's more for my benefit as well. I like to mean it when I sing it, because I think then, even if I'm having a bad voice day or whatever, I can still kind of convey that I'm probably, feeling that emotion while I'm singing it.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing as well, is the fact that if you've written something that comes from your own experience and you put it across with emotion, then it comes across a lot better, because people kind of like feel that, and they feel that I'm starting to sound like a pretentious prick now. They feel the honesty of it and that kind of thing. Yeah,
the gloves are off with the pretense now. It's okay, we can do that. We've crossed that bridge. We're comfortable with that now.
Fair enough. The other ones I liked, there was a track called Deeper, which I really like, and On My Skin as well. I really, that's a really good song. I really like.
On My Skin is, I actually wrote the lyrics to that when I was 16. So
only last week.
Yeah. Oh, go on, get out of here, Andy. No, so when I was like 16, and I just think that's quite funny now, because it does sound really stalkery now, and I think that's why we've kind of gone for that a bit of a theme in the video, a bit more of a youthful theme, because I wrote that completely unironically when I was a teenager about someone you have a crush on at school, and then you realize you get older, that sounds a bit like, ooh, teenagers are intense, aren't they? Like, ooh.
It's one of those things, though. I think people's interpretations of songs is quite amusing sometimes. It's like the fact that the one that I always find quite amusing is the fact that Every Breath You Take by the Police is such a popular song at weddings. And you think it's a really not a great song, because it's about a guy who's kind of stalking someone.
Yeah. See, I want mine. I hope On My Skin gets into that category at weddings. It's like stalker anthems at weddings. Why not? Be obsessed with your partner. You should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
The wind that speaks your whispers in the shadows of the night. I lie here and I'm longing for your light. I'm consumed by the darkness. I feel the cold air bite. I'd live this way forever if only you would.
So have you been able to go out and play live much?
Yes, we've done a fair few gigs. I mean, we've definitely had our complications with like the pandemic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've had, yeah, it's probably the first time in my whole like time performing that I've ever had to cancel gigs because of like some stuff was personal, but yeah, we were all like pandemic related stuff. Yeah. But yeah, we've been mostly gigging around Sheffield. I think we're having our first gig in Nottingham in July at a festival. But yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Deerstock on the 30th of July. Yeah, shameless plug, Deerstock, 30th of July, 2 p.m.
Yeah. So yeah, at the moment we're just trying to maybe gig a bit more. Not necessarily go too far. I think just like surrounding cities like Nottingham, Derby, quite nice. Like, but yeah, mostly Sheffield at the moment.
Okay, there seems to be a good movement over the last couple of years. I mean, last year I did this show, and this year as well. Seems to be a good movement in the way of rock music in the north of England. Sort of like the sort of band across the top of the north of England, sort of like Manchester, Sheffield, that kind of area across the country. There's a lot of bands coming out of that at the moment, and they all seem to be playing a lot there, and it's become quite a big thing from what I can work out. I mean, I've interviewed quite a few bands from that sort of area. So, is there like a circuit sort of thing of clubs and things that you play?
How do you mean?
Well, it's like there used to be specific clubs in London that were all the bands tried to play at, and
Right.
I just wondered if there was that kind of thing in the north of England. There's sort of like specific venues that you'd like to that you target it or trying to get into or whatever.
There might be. I mean, it's not something I personally thought about myself. I personally am more interested in playing with bands that would either that I'm into or just that would complement our style.
Right.
I think that's a big thing for me. It's more who we're playing with that I'm more interested in than where we're necessarily playing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, there are one or two venue names that I've seen coming up a lot. There's is it called the Robin in Robin 2 or something in Manchester?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I've been offered a gig with a previous band, but I never actually got around to playing. Can't remember why.
But there's also the thing that there does seem to be quite a lot of festivals and things going off around that part of England as well. So do you prefer playing festivals, or is there a preference on that?
Good question.
Oh, sorry, Ben. I'm not going to talk over you.
You go first. I'll think
well, playing festivals or playing. Do we prefer playing festivals or playing gigs that are at venues? I think it's in this band in particular. We've not played any festivals yet. So obviously, I've played festivals in the past. I think Ben probably played festivals in the past. But we've played at like little sub venues of festivals. You know, like Tramlines. If they've got a little small venue that's putting on other music at the same time. In old bands, I've played some festivals before, and I think really I think there's not really a preference to me anyway, at least. Obviously I can't speak for Ben, but it depends, because sometimes you'll have more energy in an indoor venue than you have at a festival. It really depends on the crowd and the nature of the event and the time slot that you're on and everything. So I think I just kind of take each experience as it comes, as opposed to having a preference, because sometimes the most unlikely places you can get the best reactions to, and it'll take you by surprise.
Yeah, no, I can understand that completely. Yeah, makes sense. So the big question now is where from here? Where do you see yourself going with the music? I mean, you've got more music to bring out, obviously. Will that be coming out? Have you have any dates for anything that's being released?
No dates yet. We're literally in the process of recording it now. So it will be later on this year. I think we'll be. Yeah, but I don't want to say anything in case
we're going to go for Christmas #1.
Yeah.
Oh, and why not? Indeed,
it's
a chance nowadays.
I think the thing is, it's just I'm really loving how it sounds at the moment, and for me, it's just it's not something I want to rush. It's ready when it's ready. If we have no urgency to release it, then it's released when we feel it's as good as it can be.
Fair enough.
So it should be late this year at some point.
And as far as touring goes, I mean, or gigs, are you looking to expand to move out of the area and sort of play further afield? And
Yeah. Oh, I
At some
am.
point, yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think I'm happy playing locally at the moment and just really just getting our live performance as good as it can be.
Yeah.
Just making sure we're really, literally the best to our ability before hitting the road, and then getting out there more and exploring more cities. But so it will be something in the future, I believe. Yeah, but right now there's no rush to do that.
You've got to be your best self before you take the world over.
Yeah,
absolutely. Do you have a kind of long-term plan or goal at all for the band, or are you playing it sort of like, play it by year by year and see how it goes, or is there a thing, say, I don't know, in 5 years' time you want to be playing major festivals and big arenas?
That'd be lovely. I'm not, so I'm going to let Ben talk about a plan, because I'm definitely not a planner. I am really laid back and probably like Ben's worst nightmare in the grand scheme, because I'm so laid back. I don't really make plans. I just kind of, I just kind of go with the flow. But that does not mean that I don't want to achieve something with the band. Obviously, of course, I would love us to be successful. I would love us to have the opportunity to play kind of bigger venues and play to bigger audiences, and really more than anything, just kind of get our music out there to a wider audience.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Ben staying quiet for some reason.
I think to be fair, I can be a bit, to be fair, at the moment I try and live a bit more kind of in the moment and just take things as they come and not focus too far ahead, just try and focus on individual steps. So right now I'm mainly just focused on getting this EP finished and this, EP duology finished, because this has been like a project that's 4 years in the working. So try and focus on that and just make sure all my energy is focused on that, so it's as good as it can be, rather than focusing too much on stuff ahead.
Yeah.
And just gigs, really. Let's just try and make our, like I said, just focus on making our live performance, because I think that's obviously a really important part of being in a band is, if you have good music, that is great, but you also need to present that music on the stage the best you can, and really grab attention, which is something I'd really want to master as well. I have my own goals as a musician, but it's one of those things we're a band, and it's, what I might want to do might not be what everyone else wants to do. So I try not to think about that too much at the same time as well.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Well, I do wish you all the best. I really like the tracks you put out so far, and I really hope you get some new stuff out, because I'd like to hear that, and I hope it goes well and it's well received. And I'd love to see you playing much more places. I'd love to see you come down into London so that I can come see you sometime. That would be cool.
Oh, that would be nice, Andy. Well, can we stay at your house? They will cost for a long drive over.
Not sure I've got the room. I'm only in a 2-bedroom flat, but we'll see.
I'm happy with floor.
You might have to share with the cat.
Oh, I love cats. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Thank you very, very much for being on the show. It's been fantastic talking to you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Andy.
No problem at all. So everyone watching, look out for Vortex Town. I'll put links to the social media and to their YouTube channel and everything when I put this out, as I normally do. So check them out and keep an eye out for them coming to venues near you and for new releases. And let's see if we can get them get them somewhere.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. And thanks to everyone for watching. I'll see you again. Bye.
Thank you, Andy. Bye-bye.
Talking Music with Big